Hi there folks. Sorry it's been a while since I've posted. I have tried to make a couple of videos reviewing this Fronius welder a bit more, but a couple of reasons. Work's just getting in the way. It's hard to find time to make these videos. They do take a long time. And I have tried to make a couple, but something's gone wrong with them. Either the arc shots haven't come outright, or it's just not been a very good quality video. So I've given up with them and haven't posted them. So I am working on it. We're still trying to get a decent way of recording the arc shots. I've tried various different things, camcorders with different lenses on them, iPhones, 3D printed screen holders for the phones, and we're getting closer, but I'd rather wait until I've got some decent content than just put out any old rubbish. So bear with me on that one. But today I want to do a quick little review slash moan about the Fronius Torches, both MIG and TIG. Long story short, I'm not very impressed with them, and it was an option I thought about when I bought the Fronius welder. Should I just go with just not have the Fronius torches and just have Binzel torches and CK TIG torches on it? And they look fancy on all the brochures, they cost a lot of money, and you think, oh, it's a Fronius welder, I'm spending this much money on it, I best get the proper Fronius torch. So that's what I did, and I'm regretting that decision now. And in fact, can I turn this camera around 2 seconds? I have in fact replaced the Fronius torch on the big machine, the TIG torch anyway, with a CK. I think this is a CK something flex, do they call it? Slim flex or something. Just because it's more the button arrangement than anything else. I just prefer having the normal just on off pushy button with a flexy neck. I can slide that button, if I'm doing some pipe work where I want to keep my hand down here, I can slide that button down a bit. I can do various things that you just couldn't do with the Fronius. And plus I've got all my standard and Furic consumables, so they fit better on a CK torch. So I didn't want to buy a whole load of new Fronius ceramics and things for the Fronius torch, so I just took that off and put on the CK one. Much happier with how that works. The only one issue I did have is apparently as soon as I put the Fronius torch in, I had some issues with water flow. I was getting an error come up saying that there's insufficient flow. So I looped out the TIG torch just to test if it was the TIG torch that was causing it, and it was. And I spoke to them at Fronius, and they said there's flow sensors in there that senses how much water's going round, and that the CK torch won't allow as much water as the Fronius one to flow through it, and that's pulling up an error. So there is a setting on here, you can go in and you can turn the flow sensor off. That's what I've done, and it works. I've still got it looped out at the moment, but yeah, so you can bypass that, but I suppose it's a safety feature that is now not enabled because I've disabled it. But anyway, there we go. I've gone for a CK torch on that. This is the torch. This is the Fronius torch that I had with it. It's the smaller version. It's the 300 amp one, I think, the slim handle. And I like the look of this long trigger when it was on paper. I thought, oh, that'll be nice and handy, you know, with your finger up there. It's easy to find. But the truth of it is, it isn't. It's not in the right place, because your hand's down here, especially when you're trying to walk the cut round pipe. Your hand's down here, and then you're going, oh, God, quite reach the top, oh, and you mess up the end of your weld. So I didn't really like that. I've tried, and you can flick it with your thumb, but it's not that easy. So I have actually 3D printed, pull that off. I've actually 3D printed a couple of little things here to sort of try different, and that's got a bit more of a thumb flicker. And that works okay, but still rather the CK torch. So yeah, that's the buttons just aren't in the right. And this is the more simpler one. This is just simply an on-off torch. But if you look at something like this one, this is another one that came with a little eye wave I've got down there. This has got 2 different buttons, up and down, and stop and start. And again, they're not in the right place. You want a button you can just press and move around, and simple's sometimes better. You know, when your hand's all twisted and you're upside down on a pipe and you're trying to figure out where your thumb is it left or right, and it doesn't really work for me. The only one good feature I did find about this is I quite like this. They've got like a hold setting on your TIG setup. So say you're welding round something and you don't really want to stop and re-arc again because you'd see it in your weld, but you need to reposition your hand, you need to reposition your body. I think if you flick this upwards, you can set a hold amperage on your welder. So say you're welding at 100 amps, you might set a hold at 50. So you can just, when you want to reposition, you can flick your thumb up and it'll hold it down at 50. So it's not really welding so much, but it's not letting the arc go out. And that is a good feature if you're in a position where you can get your fingers to it and it's not going to mess up your weld trying. But yeah, that's that. And then the next gripe I've got is the MIG torch. At the moment I've got this small routing shroud on. It's quite a small diameter for putting roots in things. That shroud's not too bad, but the standard ones that it comes with for the normal MIG welding, these coppers, I'm not very impressed with them. They're very, very lightweight, very flimsy, and you know, when you just sort of take them off and knock them to get the spatter out, it dents them and crushes them, and they're just thin and spindly, and they really do pick up spatter quite bad, and the spatter doesn't come off very easily, and they're expensive as well. So that's one gripe I've got. I don't really like the consumables on the Fronius Torches. And then today I've come in after it's been left for a week or two over Christmas, then I've gone to do tack up a little jig there, and you pull the trigger and it stays stuck in, and then you're fiddling around trying to flick it because it's jammed, it's seized. And this isn't an old torch, it hasn't done a lot of work at all, and to be seizing up already like that, I'm not very impressed. I did think it might have been this long trigger attachment that I've added on, well, a proper Fronius add-on, one I picked. But it's not. I took it off and tried the trigger and it still gets stuck in, and then it's even more of a nightmare because you haven't got this little bit to flick it back out again. But, so yeah, I'm going to have a look at that in a minute and maybe put some silicone grease in there or something to lube it up or file something down. It's just not really something I should be doing with a, what is it, I don't know, £500–600 torch. Don't know how much they cost, they're not cheap. All these up-down buttons, job masters, yeah, it looks good on paper, but do you use them? Not really, I don't. I think it's just a waste of money. I wish I'd have gone for a Binzel torch from the start. I'm thinking about replacing it now, because this is one. I absolutely love these torches, these Abbey MIGs with the rotating necks. That's got the long trigger upgrade and no problem at all, no seizing there when it's been left. The consumables on these, the shrouds, they feel better, they work better. Screw on, I like that. They've got more weight to them, they're better made. They've got some kind of, well, I mean, look at the fittings inside there. They've been pressed and they've got a bit of a heat shield sort of ceramic liner thing down there, you can't really see, but the spatter, these stay going for ages. They get spatter on them and it just flicks off and it doesn't damage the coating. And they're just cracking torches. It's got this bit of a longer neck on it, but you can get your fingers in and support it like a bit like you're doing stick welding for getting round things in position. Just great torches, lightweight. That's the air-cooled one. I've got a water-cooled one as well that I use on that Lorsch, but it's on site at the moment. So yeah, that's my quick review and quick moan about the Fronius Torches. I think if you're going to buy yourself one of these machines, personally I'd think twice about it and just leave the torches off. Get aftermarket torches. CK do it better, Binzel do it better. Thanks for watching that, guys. I hope it's helped you. I hope if you're thinking about buying one of these machines, you'd take on board what I've said and make your own decision. But if I was doing it again, I wouldn't have spent those, I don't know, a TIG torch and a MIG torch is probably over £1,000 worth there. I'd have gone CK and Binzel from the get-go. Yeah, so until next time, I'll hopefully get you some more content up soon, seeing how this thing welds. Like I said, I'm working on that arc shot camera. As soon as I've got that nailed, I'll be able to get you some decent videos. All right, cheers, catch you next time.